Hello, welcome to another episode of Star Trek Explorers. This is episode 4 of our Star Trek Adventures Original Series Era campaign. This episode is titled Cold Warriors, and we will join the crew of the USS Venture on the bridge in the middle of the action. Paul, if you like, please go ahead and read the initial captain's log of this episode from Captain Robert Harriman.
Okay, so Captain's Log, Stardate 1316.7. Long-range sensors have detected a ship adrift in space and venting plasma on the edge of an expansive nebula. It appears to have suffered massive systems malfunctions consistent with those one would expect after a battle. Analysis of the ship's hull matches the specifications of a Klingon battlecruiser. I've ordered the Venture to set course at maximum warp to investigate and render aid if necessary. But after our last encounter with the supposedly disabled Klingon ship, caution seems warranted.
So the Venture is en route to investigate this ship that looks to be a Klingon battlecruiser that is suffering some kind of distress. Your directives are to investigate and rescue as many as possible, render aid if necessary. What do you guys want to do? What's your plan?
I think caution is in order, but I think we're going to need to get ready to get an emergency damage team ready on hand. Be able to go in and help, render assistance.
I think, a medical team and probably a security team, given that this is Klingons that we're dealing with here.
I'm ready, Captain.
And I think I'd like one of you two gentlemen to lead the away team, since this is another encounter with Klingons, and last time it was pretty dicey. So I'm going to stay on the bridge this time.
Okay, I'll volunteer to lead the away team.
Yes, sir. I'm going to get Lieutenant Johnson ready.
And Lieutenant Johnson, tell me about Lieutenant Johnson. Are we creating a new supporting cast member? In our last episode, our junior security officer, Lieutenant Langdon, was killed in action. So yeah, if you guys want to create a new character, you certainly can.
Yeah,
and let's not forget we did name the new ship's arboretum after him.
Yep. Yeah. Essentially, he's going to be a red shirt and have exactly the same stat as Langdon.
Perfect.
Excellent. You just file it off, you scratch it off and put in a new name. That's great.
Maybe even the same guest actor.
Well, no, we just keep a security officer's pattern in the pattern buffer in the transporter, and then just materialize a new one as we need them. kind of like replicators.
Okay. Any other preparations that you guys want to make as the USS Venture nears this starship in distress?
I think we'll get the security chief as well to run a sort of tactical analysis of our systems. I just want to make sure that everything is up and working properly before we get close.
Cool. Yeah, Yong, why don't you give me a difficulty 1? It can be insight or reason plus security roll. And that can be assisted by the ship, which is going to be sensors plus security. So whoever's rolling for the ship is going to be target number of 11.
Okay. Mine is 14, and I have 1 success.
Okay. What about the ship?
Captain, you want to roll for the ship?
I think you're muted, Paul.
Yep, I was muted and had to run and get my phone because the dice roller's on my phone.
I see.
Okay. Right, rolling for the ship. Oh, an 18's not going to cut it, really, is it?
Nope, that won't do. But Commander Han got the one success necessary as he looks at his tactical scanners and is able to come up with some additional information as the ship nears, as the venture nears this starship in distress. It looks like the configuration of the hull matches what you guys know of Klingon D7 battle cruisers. It suffered multiple hull breaches, and the main power is down with an inoperative warp core, but it's leaking radiation. Life support is in the midst of failing, and you also detect 6 faint life signs throughout the ship. It looks like there's 3 near the warp core in what you assume is engineering, and 3 in a shuttle bay.
I would suggest we get the sensors going. Get comms to radio in on them. If they can respond, that would be great for us, because this is another foreign vessel in all of this. If we get permission, that would actually be beneficial for us.
Yeah, your communications officer has been trying to raise this Klingon battle cruiser by hailing it and has not gotten any response.
Doctor,
Okay,
I'm
so-
afraid.
Go on.
Doctor, I'm afraid they may be incapacitated.
Yeah, it looks like we're not going to get an invitation from them, so I'm afraid you're going to go over uninvited, Doctor.
Understood.
I'm going to take one more security personnel, if I could.
So yeah, you can take. I mean, Paul can play. If Captain Harriman's going to stay on the bridge, then Paul can play a supporting cast member. And then if you want to take like a security team with you, rather than creating a bunch of individual supporting cast members, we'll just say that you have an advantage aboard the ship.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so to do that, you need to create an advantage, and that will be a difficulty 2 task, or you can pay me 2 threat.
I'll pay you 2 threats.
Okay, so I now have 8. I started the game with 6, 2 for each of you. And so you now have an advantage of security team going with you over to this disabled Klingon battle cruiser. So who's going to go over there?
Well, I'm guessing it's going to be the doctor and the medical team and the security chief and his 2 red shirts.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Lieutenant Johnson. And there's another. So I've got Dr. Ozil, Commander Han, Lieutenant Johnson, the new red shirt, and you said another red shirt?
Yeah.
Want to give that one a name?
Ensign Ragnar.
Ensign Ragnar?
Yep.
Cool. Is that like a Tellarite?
Yep. Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, so you've got a security medical team, and these 4 characters ready to go. Do you want to beam over? Do you want to shuttle over? How are you going to get aboard this Klingon ship? As the USS Venture comes out of warp, you can see on the view screen this rather menacing-looking Klingon ship, but all the lights have gone dark, and it's just sort of slowly spiraling through space, completely adrift.
Unless we're using the transporters, we'll maintain a yellow alert, so shields up, weapons ready.
Captain, your recommendation? Should we transport over, or should we take a shuttle?
Do we have working transporters? Is there anything interfering with transport?
So there is, from Commander Han scans, you know that there is radiation leaking from the warp core, which it's not going to make transport impossible, but it will make it more difficult, more hazardous.
I would say use a shuttle for the moment. We'll keep the transporter as a standby in emergencies, but at least if you take a shuttle, you're going to have an alternate method of leaving.
Yes, Captain. Yep, we're going to hop on the shuttle and navigate our way there.
Let's go.
Cool. So we cut scenes to the interior of a shuttlecraft. Do you guys have any ideas for what you want the names of the shuttlecraft of the venture to be?
Oh, Italian cities.
Verona?
Okay.
Verona. There's also Venice, Rome.
We'll go with Verona for this one. You guys are aboard the shuttlecraft Verona. I like that. Artistic. Okay, so your whole team, it's pretty crowded on this small shuttlecraft. Someone has to pilot and someone has to co-pilot.
I don't think I have piloting.
Piloting is usually going to be a control plus con roll.
Yeah, it's a con check. I
I
have
got
it at
13.
3. I can roll it at a target number of 12, so I'll be co-pilot.
Cool. All right, so I'll control it. Target number 13.
So first of all, I want Dr. Ozil in the co-pilot's chair. I want you to plot a course, and that'll just be a difficulty 1, either control or reason plus con.
Since I'm not directly controlling it, I guess that will be reason. Let's see.
Okay.
2, 3, so 2 successes.
Okay, so you generate a point of momentum, and you are able to accommodate the sort of slow drifting and turning of the Klingon battlecruiser, and you have laid in a course. And so, Commander Han, you just have a difficulty 1, control plus con, to pilot the shuttle into. It turns out one of the shuttle bays is actually open aboard this battlecruiser.
Nice. I rolled 1 and 10, both under. One of them's critical success.
Okay, so that's 3 successes. You only needed 1. You generate 2 points of momentum. You now have 3 stored up as Commander Han expertly pilots the shuttlecraft out of the aft shuttle bay doors of the USS Venture and pilots it into the darkened shuttle bay of this Klingon battlecruiser. And you feel a slight lurch as your shuttlecraft lands on the deck, and as you peer out into the shuttle bay, you see almost nothing but darkness.
Let's go in and use our utility belts and get some lights going. And also, I'll get the tricorder out and look for life signs so we can get this going.
Yeah, as you step out of the shuttlecraft, it's eerily quiet, and you can hear your boots banging on the metallic deck of this foreign Klingon battlecruiser. As you scan for life signs, give me a... this is going to be difficulty 2 because there's radiation leaking, but give me a reason plus medicine roll. And you've got 3 points of momentum to use if you like.
Yeah, I'm going to spend one of them to get 3 dice. Let's go. Cool. 3, 7, and 1.
I assume.
So I'm going to create an advantage with those 2 extra momentum.
Okay. What's your advantage?
I'm basically going to be able to filter out that radiation thing for all our sensor scans. So basically getting rid of that malice.
Yeah, so you are able to compensate for, you program your tricorder to compensate for any of the lingering radiation that's leaking out of the warp core. And you can see that there are now 2 fading Klingon life signs in an adjacent shuttle bay. And there are still 3 life signs in the engineering section. You also scan and pick up a bunch of lifeless bodies. It looks like most of the crew aboard this ship is dead. You also notice, as you get out and look around the shuttle bay, that a lot of the equipment and technology appears to have been stripped, like pirated and stolen.
Was there signs of actual fighting on board?
Yes, you see that there are, as you, just in this shuttle bay, there are a couple of corpses, one of which is Klingon, one of which is not, and they appear to have been, you see that there's some disruptor burns, some stab wounds. It looks like there was definitely some kind of pitched battle all over this ship.
Hando takes out the phaser, and he instructs everybody, phasers on stun.
Understood. Let's get going. I'm going to head over to those fighting light signs and do an emergency medicine roll. So it's going to be a daring and medicine, right?
Yes. You're going over to the so there's some life signs in a different shuttle bay, and there are some life signs in the engineering section. You were closer to the adjacent shuttle bay. Is that where you would like to be?
I'm going to head over to the adjacent shuttle bay.
Yep.
Okay. So you find that when you try to leave the shuttle bay you're currently in, the doors appear to be powered down. In fact, almost everything is powered down on the ship right now. Someone's going to have to figure out a way to manually open these doors.
Is there a pneumatic lever to manually release it?
I'm sorry, say that again, Miguel.
Okay, when a thing goes off powered, there's probably a lever by it where you basically need to use your strength to actually get the door to open. That's
yes.
Thing.
Yes, absolutely. So that's going to be difficulty 1, fitness plus either security or engineering to figure out how to use this manual release for the door.
Okay, I'm going to be rolling fitness and security. Let's see. Okay, I got a 6 and a 7. So my fitness is 7 and security is 2. So both successes.
2 successes. Okay. You generate a point of momentum. You now have 3 banked, and you hear a screeching sound as you open up these heavy iron doors into the next shuttle bay. And like the one you were just in, it's also dark and eerily silent, but you see that there are 2 bleeding Klingons who are sprawled out on the deck. You also notice that the shuttle bay doors here are open, but they, for now, there appears to be a force field in place, keeping you from being exposed to the vacuum.
Okay, yeah, so that's going to be a problem. I'm going to start. Do I need to do a command test to actually have my away team go over to the engineering, or is it fine, or do I automatically don't have to do that?
If you want to, so some player characters, if you want to split up, some of the player characters will have to go over to engineering.
I was thinking more NPCs. Get the one NPC security guy and a couple of doctors and nurses to the other place, and then we just try to split it up. So,
yeah, if you want to, sure, you can order some of the NPCs to split up and walk through this dark and foreign ship and see if they arrive at their destination unharmed. Sure.
No, security chief is gonna intervene. He's gonna say, "Well, doctor, I recommend that we stay together, considering that we're lacking personnel to secure the medical team. I think it is wise to stick together."
Yes, but I'm also concerned with the fact is that engineering is also an area that's been hit, and the shuttle bay we're about to enter in door is wide open, and at any moment the engineering area could be compromised, cut off the power, and anyone in the shuttle bay will be exposed to the vacuum.
If you do insist, I could head over to the engineering. I will leave Ensign Ragnar here with you.
Understood. Thank you. I'm going to head over into the shuttle bay and try to do some emergency medicine right now. So I get an extra dice due to first response, and I am going to get a threat to have bold medicine, so I'm rolling 4 dice. So let's see here.
Okay, so this is going to be daring plus medicine to stabilize the nearest Klingon bleeding on the deck.
I have 2 focuses, emergency medicine and xenobiology, and I'm assuming both do apply, so...
Yes, absolutely.
Good. So I'm not going to have the McCoy part where I don't know Klingon anatomy. Cool. 6, 5, 2, and then 1 more. 12. So 2, 4, 6. I'm going to create an advantage of basically being able to get these people stabilized quickly so that it cuts down on the time, because sooner or later that thing is going to go off.
So how many successes did you get on that roll?
I have a 2 and a 5 that's within my skill rating. So 4 successes and then 2 extra. So
total 6 successes.
Yeah.
You needed 1, so 5 points of momentum. You use 2 to create an advantage, and so you get 3 more points of momentum.
I can also make it a super advantage by spending an additional 2 points of momentum too.
Okay, so you spend, that leaves you with 4 points of momentum banked, and you can create 2 advantages. One of which I will say is, Klingons have redundant organs. They're fast healers, and so as you rush up to this nearest Klingon and hiss a hypospray into him to stabilize him, he's clearly injured. He's not going to be able to take actions, but he does return to consciousness, and he's able to speak with you, to answer some questions if you like.
I'm basically going to be
he opens
going
his
along.
eyes and looks up at you in surprise.
Yeah. First things first, this is going to be important. Dr. Bedside Manner thing is to let him know is just to take it easy right now. He's seriously injured right now, but what happened?
Orions. They were hiding. They were hiding in a shuttle. We picked up the shuttle, tractored it aboard, and they came out there had to have been 2 score of them. But they were using some kind of suppression device, so our scanners could not detect them.
Okay, interesting. We're going to get you and the rest of your men out of here right quick. We have a shuttle set up, so I'm going to get some of the orderlies to get these people moved out. Guess we're going to have to radio into the captain.
Yes. So as you are, who's with you right now, Dr. Ozil? Is Lieutenant Johnson? Paul, are you in there in that shuttle bay with Dr. Ozil?
I think it's probably a good idea that at least one security guard went with him, but it's entirely up to the chief.
Yeah, he would have left the lieutenant back there.
Okay. So yeah, Johnson's probably with the doctor.
Okay, along with Ensign Ragnar, or maybe I got that mixed up. You said Ragnar was going to stay, and do you also want Lieutenant Johnson to stay?
Actually, I was thinking Johnson was back in the shuttle because somebody has to stay in the shuttle, right?
All right, sure. Sorry, I got mixed up there. So it's Ragnar that's with the doctor.
Right.
Okay.
So let's hope Ragnar survives.
So I've got some threat here. I'm going to spend a couple points, as there is a bit of a miniature explosion that comes from one of the failing power conduits in this shuttle bay, and the force field keeping you from being exposed to the vacuum shimmers for a moment and then cuts out. And all of a sudden you feel as if the air is being forced from your lungs. And it's all you can do just to keep from losing your breath. And you can feel yourself that there's an unseen force that tries to sweep you up off the deck. And so Dr. Ozil and whoever's playing Ensign Ragnar, you're going to need to, but first of all, tell me, so these Klingons are in no real capacity to resist this force sweeping them out into the cold vacuum of space. You can either try to grab onto them, or you can let them go.
I think we were able to get some of them out with that advantage, but yeah, I'm going to try to rescue them. So,
Okay.
those
So-
that I wasn't able to get. So, if say we were able to get 2 to 3 outside of the shuttle bay, and there's 2 left here. So this is going to be.
I'll tell you what. There are two injured Klingons in there. You're able to get one out with your advantage, and the second one, who's still wasn't able to be brought back to consciousness, but just stabilized. He is still in the shuttle bay.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go do that. I am going to actually use a determination, and the value is danger is our mission. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 1 dice down, and then what do I have to roll to just rush in?
Yeah,
this is one of those things that is like automatic.
Yeah,
I'm going in my head.
This is a difficulty 3 roll, and you can use either daring or fitness plus. I'll let you use medicine. I mean, you're a doctor, and this is a situation where you're trying to save the life of an injured person. So I think medicine can apply.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, how much extra momentum do we have?
You got 4 points of momentum.
I'm going to spend 3 to get an additional dice, so it's basically 4 dice. I already spent my determination, so I need to get 1 success. So let's see. Okay, a 2, 9, and 10. This was a daring and medicine test, so it needed to be under 16, so I have 3 extra successes.
Okay.
All I would say is I would spend 2 momentum to make sure the critically injured person doesn't get hit, but that means I'm open to being hit.
Excellent. So that leaves you with two points of momentum still stored. As your cat-like reflexes, Dr. Ozil, you're able to grab a hold of the Klingon and kind of shove him up against a bulkhead to keep him from being swept away. So for the moment, he is still alive and has not been swept out through the shuttle bay doors. However, someone needs to figure out a way. You either need to get out of the shuttle bay, or someone needs to restart the force field. And
I guess a job for Ragnar.
Yeah, who wants to play Ensign Ragnar?
I was hoping you wouldn't say it was a job for Ragnar, because yeah, okay. So he's are we using like standard Starfleet security officer?
Yeah, I'm gonna look up some NPC stats right now.
Yeah, I'm just having a look in the where are we? Page
Roll below
93
a 7.
in the ops book.
Yeah.
Because he's not huge on the engineering.
It could be like a daring plus con, or
I'm just thinking that since security officers are not known for being much for engineering, his instinct is probably going to be to try and grab the Doctor and the Klingon and drag them out of the shuttle bay.
Yeah, that makes more sense. So that would probably, I would say, daring or fitness plus security.
Well, if you're using the one from the ops book, then fitness and daring are the same, so it doesn't really matter. And security, yeah. So 13.
That makes sense to me. And this will be a difficulty 2 roll. And Paul, you've got 2 points of momentum to work with, if you like.
I think it's a critical situation, so let's spend. Oh, I can only spend 1 momentum to get the extra dice. I can't spend the 3, so.
You could also pay me at 1 threat, and then you could spend the 2 momentum and get 2 dice.
That's true. Okay, yep, I'll do that.
Okay. So you get 2 extra dice.
Okay, and what difficulty was it again?
What did I say? Did I say
3? I think you said
3? Yeah, 3 makes sense.
Yikes. Okay. 8, 11, 12, and 3. So that's
Sounds like a bunch of successes.
4 successes. Wow.
You generate 1 point of momentum, and Paul, you can narrate for me how Ensign Ragnar springs into action to save Dr. Ozil and this injured Klingon as there's explosive decompression inside the shuttle bay.
So the doctor's got hold of the Klingon, presumably. So Ragnar, sort of fighting the tornado force winds that are trying to drag everybody out of the shuttle bay, will make his way slowly over to the doctor and just essentially put an arm around him and grab him and drag him bodily while the doctor holds onto the Klingon towards the shuttle bay doors. And then as he reaches the doors, he'll kind of reach back with the other hand and just slap the button to close them behind him.
Yeah, you hear the gears once again grind back to life as these heavy metal doors clang shut behind you, and you can breathe again. Your lungs fill with air.
Excellent. That's what we like to see.
Good. We'll get these going, but I'm also going to have to message Hando to let him know what's just happened. They seem to have been attacked by the Orions using a sort of suppression technology. Do be careful. There might be some still on board. Once we get this done, Han, I'll be heading down there.
You got it, Doctor.
So yeah, let's cut to Commander Han, who is making his way toward the engineering section of the D7 battle cruiser. And who is with you, Commander Han? Or are you by yourself?
I'm assuming that he's probably got like 1 or 2 medical personnel, but he would be the only security personnel over there.
Okay. So you get into the engineering section, and you can see the warp core. It takes up pretty much this entire large room. To get to the very far end of the room, it's at long range. And you can see that there's a catwalk that actually rises up above the warp core. So you can kind of climb up a ladder and then look down at the warp core from this catwalk. And you can see that there are plasma fires erupting from the warp core. And these are green, intense flames. And you can see that there are 3 Klingons in this room. One is near the doors where you enter, but the other 2 are on the far side of this catwalk.
Yeah, he turns to the other 2 and says, let us secure the one that's nearest the door. We may have to risk our lives, but, not necessarily right now. Let's get him out. So he's going to approach the one that's closest to the door and try to drag him out of there.
Yep, that doesn't require a task. You pick up the Klingon and drag him back out into the corridor.
Okay. Looking at the other personnel, he asks them to go on and try and revive him. And he jumps right back in there.
Yeah, so as you jump it back into the engineering, that's when Dr. Ozil shows up, who's making his way in that direction. And so you can enter the scene if you like, Miguel.
How's everything here, Hando?
Well, we were able to rescue one, this fellow over here. But I see 2 others across that plasma fire. It's going to be fairly difficult to navigate our way through unharmed and also secure them.
Yes. Is there a way to activate the fire suppression systems here?
Well, I was just about to look into that option.
Hold on, let's get that going. If anything, we'll look into ways to find ways to bypass it.
So he would go over to the console and see whether if he could activate the fire suppression system.
Sorry, guys, got kicked out for a second. But I'm back.
Yeah, so he goes over to the computer console to see if he could activate the fire suppression system, if it's still online.
Yes. So, Commander Han, this is Klingon technology, not something you're super familiar with. So it's going to be, if you wanted to shut down the systems that are causing the plasma fire, it's going to be a difficulty 3 reason plus engineering roll.
Reason plus engineering. All right.
And someone could assist.
Yeah, he's going to look to the doctor and says, Dr. Ozil, I think you may want to take a look at this.
Let me roll here, see what I can get. 2. So 1 success.
Right. And I got 1 success as well.
Okay, 2 successes is not going to be enough, as you guys just can't make heads or tails of this Klingon engineering system. You're not sure how to activate the fire suppression system, or even if there's enough power to do so.
It seems like we just have to go in there.
Yes. Well then, this is going to be one of those daring things. So I'm going to try to find a way to get around and get to them. So.
Well, Doctor, if you're in danger, then we're going to be in a lot more trouble. So let me try and see if I could jump over there and grab these guys. If I fail, well, it's up to you. And Hando's going to go in there and see if he could parkour his way up to these incapacitated Klingons.
Yeah, so you climb up the catwalk, and you make your way about halfway through the engineering section. And you can look down, and you can see this giant Klingon engine beneath you. And these plasma fires are just below the catwalk. And you think that by yourself, it's probably not going to be that difficult for you to get across to the Klingons. Bringing them back is going to be considerably more difficult, carrying them.
He's going to look around to see whether if there's any, any plates or some sort of a vent that he could shoot to have it collapse on top of the plasma fire to block it physically.
I like that idea. Give me I'm going to say, so to do this, it's going to also require a little bit of engineering know-how to know exactly where to fire your phaser. I'm going to say control plus engineering with a difficulty of 2.
Okay.
And you have 1 point of momentum, if you like, and you can, to get an extra die. And also you've got your point of determination, if you've got a value that would apply here.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna invoke the "I will not fail my duty when others rely on me" value, and I will spend that momentum, so I get 4 total. So control plus engineering, I have to roll under 13. Here we go.
You can do it.
I rolled 20. So the other one I rolled 17 and 17 and 3. I only got 1 success.
So with your point of determination, you automatically rolled 1 critical success. So you got 1 extra success. So you got what you needed.
Great.
So you got the successes you needed, but you also rolled a complication. Okay, here we go. So you are able to fire your phaser to cause to cause some kind of machinery in the engineering compartment to topple down and smother much of the plasma fire. So that's going to allow you to get across the catwalk and bring the Klingons back. However, you also shot something that might have been maybe a little more important than you realized, as alarms start sounding throughout the engineering compartment, and it sounds like maybe this thing's going to go up in flames pretty soon.
Comes back with the Klingons and says, "Doctor, I think we got to get out of here quickly."
Well, we get the wounded and let's get going. That's not good.
I don't know why that's sounding right now, but we gotta move. Let's go, Doctor.
Yeah, so there are alarms blaring throughout the ship right now as you guys hustle back to the shuttle bay where your shuttle awaits you. Who is going to pilot this thing?
Well, take us out, Lieutenant. We gotta get out of here quick.
This is Johnson, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Have we got everybody? We're not missing anybody, are we?
Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3. We got them all. Let's go. Move it. Move it.
Okay. So, I think probably what, a daring and con?
Yes, sir. This will be difficulty 2 this time, under a little bit more pressure.
How much momentum have we got?
You have none left right now.
Okay.
What's the hesitation? You want me to take over?
No, I'll buy a threat for the extra dice.
Okay.
2 successes.
Okay. So Lieutenant
Just barely.
Johnson, yeah, just barely. You lift the shuttle up off the deck and fly out through the shuttle bay doors. And as you are hightailing it back to the Venture, you feel the deck buck beneath you as the shuttlecraft is rocked by this immense explosion as the D7 battlecruiser goes up in flames behind you.
Lieutenant, I think I just killed a D7 battlecruiser with a phaser. It looks like its own phaser.
Oh, that's going to be one for the book, sir.
Oh, brother. I hope they don't ask me to pay for the damages.
Yeah, that could get expensive.
Very expensive.
Captain, we've secured the survivors from that ship. During the rescue, there was some complications, and in the engineering while we were rescuing the Klingons, I think I may have triggered something.
Yeah, we noticed one of the complications. That was the D7 blowing up, yeah?
Yes, Captain.
Interesting that you refer to that as a complication. We'll talk later. I'll have a medical team waiting in the shuttle bay for you.
We're on our way, Captain.
Yeah, so Lieutenant Johnson is able to pilot the shuttlecraft into the shuttle bay of the USS Venture without any further complications. You successfully rescued the 5 Klingons, but the D7 is now beyond salvage, beyond repair. What do we do, gentlemen?
I think we're going to get these people into sickbay, and then we're going to have to figure out how we're going to go from here. Perhaps we're going to need to do a sensor scan to see if we can find some sort of faint trace of a shuttle.
Yeah, we'll get the Klingons into sick bay. We'll get a security team posted there as well, just so that they're not roaming around the ship.
Yep, Hando's there with Ragnar.
And presumably you're going to let me know what the Klingon said, so we know that it's Orions that have caused the issue.
Yes, I'm going to give you a summary of what happened.
Okay. Well, because of that, we'll maintain the yellow alert, and we'll run continuous sensor scans just to see if there are any other ships in the area. Oh, and once one of these Klingons is able to, let's see if we can get some details from them, like their name and the name of the ship, and then we'll see if we can get a message through to the Klingon High Command.
Yeah, so most of the Klingons are still too injured to return to consciousness, but one of them, Dr. Ozil, was able to to wake up. And that Klingon tells you that the ship that they were aboard was called the Dragkala.
Okay, and do we get any names of some of these Klingons, or at least the name of one of them?
Yes, the conscious one tells you his name is Commander. I don't know. I should have thought of some Klingon names. Anyone have a good Klingon name on the tip of their tongue?
Call him Carl.
Call. Yeah, Commander Call.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. I'll let the doctor continue treating them. Security chief can look after them, and we'll get the comms officer to see if we can't get a message through to Starfleet and to the Klingon High Command, just to let them know that we've done this rescue.
Yep, they can dispatch a subspace message, but it'll probably be some time before it's received. You guys are in deep space.
Oh, great. That means we've got more guests. So we've got one Orion and now a handful of Klingons on board. If we keep going like this, there's going to be no Starfleet officers left. Well, let's give the Klingons a chance to be treated and to rest a little, and then I'll ask the doctor that as soon as one of them is able to be questioned, we'll get them into the conference room and see if we can get more information on what happened.
Understood.
Yeah, Dr. Ozil, as you're treating this Klingon in sickbay, why don't you give me a difficulty 2 reason plus medicine roll as you are scanning him and treating him.
Okay, I'm going to roll that. Let me just go ahead. Do we have any momentum?
You do not right now.
Okay, hold on. Let's go. 2 and 3.
How many successes is that? Do you have a...
I have xenobiology, trauma surgery, and emergency medicine. I'm assuming xenobiology applies for focuses.
Yep, xenobiology would apply.
Cool. Guess I could start writing back to the Federation about Klingon biology and get some accolades soon.
So how many successes did you get there, Miguel?
Each of them were under my medicine, so 4 overall.
4. Okay. So you generate 2 points of momentum. And as you are treating this Klingon, you see that he suffered some really nasty wounds. I mean, some disruptor burns, some deep stab wounds. But you're able to treat him. At one point, though, as you're working him over, he grabs your hand and he says, "Do not bother, Doctor. We are dead men."
I'm going to tell him to just relax for a bit. You're not dead yet, especially under my care.
You waste your efforts, is what I'm saying. Even if you return us back to the Empire, we are dishonored. We lost our vessel to not but a band of ragtag Orion pirates.
A ragtag group of pirates that were able to use successful ambush tactics. There has been many instances in Earth history where a far more powerful military gets humbled by a bunch of what is considered ragtag rabble. The Vietnam War is a case of this.
Give me a presence plus command roll. And I will roll it against his difficulty of 1.
Okay, I'm going to spend 1 in momentum, get 3 dice, and we'll see here. 3, 9, and 14. My presence in command is exactly 9. So 2 successes, 1 over him.
Okay. So you generate a point of momentum, and your bedside manner prevails, and the Klingon lets go of your wrist and relaxes back on the bio bed and allows you to finish treating him. But you can tell that he has some misgivings.
Well, yes, of course he's got misgivings, but more importantly, there's a certain point of, you're still alive. You can come back from this, and you guys have such a long lifespan. Odds are you'll regain your honor, because what sort of society is going to go ahead and go along with if you mess up once, you're now useless? That doesn't make sense at all.
Okay, so we will cut this scene. Is there anything else that you guys would like to do before we proceed?
We would like to interrogate them and find out what they're doing out here.
Yeah, if one of them is able to be questioned, if it's okay with the doctor, we'll get him in the conference room and see if we can find out more about what they're doing out here.
Just remember, I would like to emphasize, be careful. They have wounded pride right now, so do not try to exacerbate it. They tend to value honor above all things, so do try to focus on that, but do not try to make them seem like they're incompetent here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll cut to the Ventures conference room. There'll be the three of you in the scene, plus this Commander Call, who is on the mend. He's a large, broad-shouldered Klingon, long hair, and he is not in a good mood as he's brought into the conference room to speak with you. He kind of growls at you, a guttural growl.
I'll gesture towards a seat and just say to him, so, Commander, I've been given an idea of the situation from my doctor and security chief, but I'd like to hear from you exactly what happened.
He doesn't sit down. He actually kind of stands up straighter, as if he's trying to make some kind of attempt to maintain his pride. He almost like stands at attention in like a military posture. And he says, we were ambushed by dishonorable Orion Patak, and we failed in defending our ship from them.
Well, your ship was certainly damaged in the attack, but whether you failed or not is another question. I would like to know a few more details. How many Orion ships were there? What types?
They lured us in with a fake distress signal from a shuttle. When we brought the shuttle on board into our shuttle bay, more of their ships emerged from the nebula, and they attacked. At the same time, several dozen Orion Buccaneers emerged from the shuttle we brought into our shuttle bay. We were fighting simultaneously on the interior of our vessel as well as outside in starship combat. Once they had dispatched most of our crew, they ransacked our vessel and stole much of our technology before disappearing back into the nebula. That's the last thing I remember, Captain.
So they surprised you with dishonorable tactics?
You might say that, but we should have been ready.
Well, by Federation standards, you certainly put up a good fight. I'm sure that your standards are much higher. But I can agree with that they certainly use dishonorable tactics to take you by surprise. And that hardly seems right. Do you have any idea where the Orions might be now? Would they still be in the area? And do you know if they might be coming back?
Our last sensor scan showed them moving into the nebula. It is a vast nebula. We're unsure where they are now. Okay.
Well, we've dispatched a subspace message to Starfleet Command to see if we can contact the Klingon High Command. And until then, you will remain the guests of the USS Venture. I'm afraid under the circumstances, your access to parts of the ship will be limited.
I have no interest in spending time on your soft Starfleet vessel, human.
And I'm sure that you will be spending as little time as possible, but until we can get a Klingon ship out here to pick you up, or we can rendezvous with one. I'm afraid you will be our guests.
And at that moment, Captain, there is a whistle, and an ensign pipes in over the comm system saying, Captain, a Klingon vessel is decloaking.
Oh god, they actually have cloaking technology during this time? Whoa.
That's probably something we've not seen before, at least not outside of Romulans.
Everyone is going to panic!
Okay, well let's get these Klingons back to sick bay or to quarters under guard, and I'll make my way up to the bridge.
Cool.
As we're going like this, Captain, there may be a way to facilitate better relations with the Klingon Empire. They didn't mention that their technology was stolen by the Orions. If perhaps we can coordinate with the Klingons and retrieve this technology and just give it back to them, this might actually be a way to further cement better relations down the line.
A temporary alliance with the Klingons against the dishonorable Orions.
It's more along the lines of a criminal cartel that is preying on people. Both sides represent legitimate governments that do have that, and more importantly, this is Klingon technology, and we just have a ship that just decloaked. Orion pirates having cloaking devices would be very dangerous.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you at all on any of those points, Doctor. I'm just trying to imagine what the Admiral's going to be saying about this.
I can say is that the Admiral would be more interested if we were able to secure the technology itself, but more importantly, there's going to also be arguments about the fact is that do we really need to have this sort of edge?
All good points, Doctor. Very well. Let's start by getting to the bridge then, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so we will cut to the bridge as you guys have this discussion on the turbo lift on the way to the bridge. And when you arrive, this is the sight that greets you on the view screen. A Klingon battle cruiser with its photon torpedo port at the front is glowing with a red, threatening-looking energy. And Captain Harriman, as you stride onto the bridge, someone says, they're hailing us, Captain.
Okay. On screen.
Filling the view screen is a large, menacing-looking Klingon with filed teeth that he is bearing in a very dramatic look on his face. And he says, I am Commander Dragath. I demand, of the IKS Tem Drakag, I demand that you return the Klingon officers to me.
Good morning, Commander. I'm Captain Robert Harriman of the Starfleet vessel USS Venture. Indeed, yes. The officers from the IKS Drakar are currently in our sickbay being treated by our doctor. If you would like to beam over, you're more than welcome to see them and assess their condition.
Commander Han, when you see this Klingon on the view screen and your eyes lock for a moment and you recognize him immediately.
Uh-oh.
Any idea where you might know him from?
Probably that, the previous game where he wrestled somebody or the guy that he beat him up.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Yes.
It's the Klingon fella
you met this. You met this Klingon before, although you didn't really get his name because he was so drunk. He was trying to get his family heirloom batleth returned to him from a pawn shop, and you actually kind of made a point to buy the batleth, and when he challenged you to a fight, you were able to defeat him, mostly because he was so drunk. But he told you that you had made an enemy that day.
Uh-oh. So, Hando is going to be like, oh, boy. And he's going to say, Captain, there's something that I must tell you.
Okay. Am I going to like this?
Well, not exactly, sir. That commander that we just saw on the view screen, he's the fella that I fought while we were trying to secure the parts. Remember the time that we made a quick detour and picked up our extra crewmen?
Yes, your report was kind of skimpy on some of those details. Is this you filling it out a little bit more now?
Yes, Captain. It's the fella that wanted the same bat left, and I knocked him down. But he told me that he has made. Well, I have made an enemy, and obviously, I don't think my presence here on the bridge would help at all.
Okay, well, as long as he's going to be coming on board, you may want to make yourself scarce a little bit.
Well, perhaps you're right. Then again,
stay nearby.
Then again, they may actually view our entire Starfleet personnel or our entire vessel as their enemy at this point. I didn't mean to cause such a big deal here, Captain. But, well, I gotta fess up. What am I gonna do?
I'm sure we'll manage.
Your order, sir?
Yep, let's, if you can get a couple of your security guards to come with me down to the transporter room, I'll go and greet the captain and make sure that they escort us to the sick bay. And yeah, you may want to stay nearby but out of sight.
Yes, Captain.
Yeah, so who's going to be present in the transporter room when these Klingons come aboard?
Transporter chief, myself, and a couple of security guards.
Okay. Is Commander Han going to be there?
No.
Not initially.
Okay.
He's gonna be like, following them around, one or couple rooms away from where they are. He's gonna be close, but he's not gonna be visible to the commander.
Yeah, so we'll cut to the transporter room of the USS Venture, and there's the swirling light of the transporter effect and the characteristic whine from the transporters, and as they dissipate, 3 big Klingons are standing on the transporter pad, one of which is this Dragath, the commander of this battle cruiser. And he, as soon as he materializes on the platform, he looks around, and you can see a look of almost disappointment when as he takes in his environment. But then he steps off the transporter pad and offers his enormous mitt to Captain Harriman.
Yep, I'll greet him however he wants to be greeted. So if he offers his hand, I'll shake it. If he does a Klingon salute, then I will as well.
No, he shakes your hand. He says, I believe this is the customary greeting for your people.
It is, Commander, very much so. If you would care to follow me to sickbay, we will go and see the rest of your compatriots.
There is no need. I do not need to see them. Simply have them transported to my vessel. Or you could simply have them transported into space. Their fates are sealed.
I see. Are you aware of what happened?
I would like to know more, but what the undisputed facts are this. They failed to maintain control of their vessel, and for that, they will be executed.
They were ambushed in a very dishonorable fashion by Orion pirates. And I was wondering, Commander, if you would be open to perhaps some form of temporary alliance to maybe track down those pirates and recover your stolen technology. After all, the Federation has a vested interest in not having Orion pirates roaming this area as well.
Yes, we will deal with the Orion Patak.
And if we can provide any assistance, then we would be most happy to do so. I do have one personal request, though.
What is that, Captain?
Well, having spoken to the Klingons on board this ship and understood how they were dishonorably ambushed, I would ask that you give them the opportunity to meet with the Orions in face-to-face battle.
Yes, I understand you Starfleeters like to make excuses. That is not the Klingon way.
Of course, they're your people. You may do as you see fit with them.
But perhaps there is an opportunity to build a bridge here, Captain. I like what you say about that. Is your Commander Han aboard?
As it happens, Commander Han is on board. However, he is currently detained with his duties.
Well, that's too bad. I have a score to settle with him.
So I understand. But I'm afraid he is on duty at the moment and will be for, well, quite a long time.
Well, we are in no hurry, Captain. Let me propose this to you. I would like to face your Commander Han in single combat. It doesn't have to be lethal if you so insist. But if he wins, you will have your alliance. We will extend our hand in friendship, and we can work together in this sector of space. If I win, I get my family heirloom bat'leth returned to me.
Well, it's not normally Starfleet custom or regulation to promote any kind of a match such as the one you're proposing, but I will put the situation to Commander Han and see if he's willing to take part.
And you can tell him this. If he wins, then perhaps I will allow these dishonored warriors a chance to explain themselves.
Well, very well. I will put that to him. Would you like to stay on board for perhaps a drink?
Very good.
I believe one of my officers might have some Romulan ale tucked away somewhere, if that's acceptable to you.
As long as the word does not reach Kronos that I drank Romulan ale, then yes, I will accept your invitation.
I think you will find almost any human beverage a little too tame for you. Although I think my engineer does have some scotch. We could try that.
I'm unfamiliar with this scotch.
Oh, I think we'll go for that then. You'll find it acceptable, I believe. So we'll head to probably one of the conference rooms and see if we can get a bottle of scotch in.
Sure. Yeah, I like where this is going.
Well, you know, got to try and be friendly with Klingons, at least as much as possible. The security guards will still follow. And I'll point out to the commander that it's normal practice when you have a non-Federation member on board to have a security escort for the captain.
Yes, we understand this. It would be the same on board a Klingon vessel.
Okay, I'll have them escort the commander to a conference room then, and I'll go and have a quick chat with Commander Han.
Okay.
Captain?
So, do you want the good news or the bad news, Chief?
Always the bad news first.
How do you feel about fighting a Klingon? Non-lethal combat, of course.
Actually, I would think that's a good news. Isn't it, Captain?
I'm hoping so. He's offered a temporary alliance with us. If he has the opportunity to meet you in single combat.
Well, if he would like to fight me, I would not decline, sir.
I'll set that up then.
So what's the good news, Captain?
Well, the good news is he doesn't want to fight to the death with Butleths.
Oh, thank God. Thank you, Captain. That's a great relief.
And the even better news is I don't have to order you to fight to death with Butleths.
Well, I suppose we could arrange this. Where would be a good place to hold this combat match?
Docking Bay 3. The Rumble into Docking Bay.
That's probably not a bad idea, but let's go for one of the gyms. I'm assuming we've got a gym on board.
Or 10 forward.
Have we got a 10 forward?
You have to have like a lounge for people to just relax and do stuff.
Yeah,
but you don't have wrestling
Are people
matches in a
taking
lounge.
wagers? Is there a wager going here?
I'm sure one of the officers has a gong they can hit to begin.
Hold on, guys.
Okay, no, we'll set it up in one of the gyms. And we'll make sure that it's broadcast throughout the ship as well. And to the Klingon ship.
Yong has a gong.
Oh, dear. And don't forget, Chief, you're fighting for the honor of the ship here.
Yes, Captain. I shall remember.
You better win Mortal Kombat.
Is there anything that you guys want to do before we engage in the single combat?
Nope. I don't think
yeah,
so from my point of view. This is just something I want to see sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Hando was going to ask the captain, when would the match be held?
Well, let's put it like this. I'm about to go into a conference room and start drinking with a Klingon, so the sooner the better.
Oh, boy. All right, Captain.
Doctor, if you can have some sort of anti-alcohol injection waiting for me, I'd be most grateful.
Sure, in a second. So we're going to be seeing a fight like this. Great. Could be Turkish oil wrestling.
Okay. Shall we proceed to the fight then?
Yes, dear God, I hope so. This is entirely up to Young.
Okay, so Jan, describe for me how Commander Han enters the gymnasium, what he's wearing, what he's thinking, and how he is preparing for this fight. Oh, did we lose Yang?
I think he might get some kid aggro, so
okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Well, let's take a quick break because I need another beer anyway. That work for you guys?
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Take a 5-minute break.
Oh, Young is not back yet.
Nope, Yong has dropped off the call for the moment. So I hope he will return. If not, you might have to forfeit the fight.
Oh, no.
That's okay. I can just point out to the Klingon captain what a dishonourable Patak Commander Han is. I'm sure the captain will agree and go away happy. Of course, I'd still like the commander to win. I was going to say I'll just tell the Klingon captain that my security chief is a dishonourable Patak for not turning up.
Especially when you put money on him.
Oh, maybe he's here. I think he's trying to come back. Oh, he showed up after all.
Yeah, my computer just crashed real hard.
Mm-hmm. So the Hulk Hogan theme plays, but instead of saying I'm a real American, it's a real Korean. You come down with the Korean flag.
Yeah. He walks in there, and he's all ready to fight.
And so the Commander Dragath, he's taken off his armor, and he's just wearing kind of like a sleeveless outfit.
And there goes Fred's.
He's back.
This time, I'm back. Yeah, so Commander Dragath takes off his kind of the robe and the armor that he's been wearing, and you can see that he's wearing like a sleeveless outfit now, and he's got rippling muscle all up and down his arms, and he is ready to fight. Is there anything Commander Han would like to say, or the captain would like to say before the fight commences?
I'll remind everybody that this is not a fight to the death. This is a fight between two honourable men. And if I call a stop, then it will stop. Do we have any rules for who wins? As in first to be pinned? Captain?
I would say the first to an injury.
Both participants okay with that?
Yes, Captain, I have no problem with that. At all. And then he brings out the bat'leth that he's won last time and gives it to the captain and says, as promised, this will be the prize to be fought for yet again.
Absolutely. I'll hold on to that until the fight is over, one way or the other.
That bat'leth has been in my family for generations, and it will be mine again. And know this, human, although our lives are not on the line, the lives of those Klingon warriors you help rescue are. If I win, they will be executed, as surely as you stand right there.
I understand that, Commander, and hence I shall fight with the best of my ability.
Okay, so you have 2 points momentum at your disposal, Yong. Do you want to hit that gong to start the fight?
Here we go.
That's awesome. Okay, so immediately I'm going to spend 2 points of threat to get the initiative on Dragath's side. He is shockingly fast. Last time you fought him, he'd been on a bender for several days. This time, he's much more fresh, and he moves with a surprising speed and agility. And he tries to wrap his muscular arms around you and body slam you. And I'm going to spend some extra threat as well on this roll. Yong, I would like you to give me a daring plus security that will be opposed by Dragaths. And you've got 2 points of momentum.
Okay, I'll spend 1 point of momentum.
Okay, so you get a third d20.
You were looking for daring plus security?
Yes, sir. Daring plus security.
3 successes.
Okay, so he also got 3 successes. In this case, the tie goes to the aggressor. And so he knocks you down with his attack. And let me see how much damage here. He's going to do 4 challenge dice damage. 1, 2, 3. So he does 4 points of stress damage to you, Commander Han, and knocks you to the mat as he lifts you up and slams you back down. And you hear him growl with this fierce guttural roar.
Nice.
Commander Han, what do you do?
He's gonna do a scissor kick, and as his back is on the mat or on the floor, he's gonna do a backstand and at the same time cross his leg to try to sweep him and make him fall down as well. And
okay, so you use your what was that last part, Young?
I'm going to use my momentum and try to do that. Get an extra die.
Okay, so that leaves you with 1 point momentum as you spring up from the mat and attempt your scissor kick, and that will be another daring plus security roll opposed by the Klingons, who this time only gets 1 success.
Okay, I got 2 successes.
Okay, so go ahead and roll damage. It's going to be a number of d6s that's equal to 1 plus your security discipline.
1 plus my security. Yeah. 6. And I get 1, 2, and 4. 4 is considered nothing, right? 3 and 4s are ignored.
Yeah, just get rid of 3s and 4s.
Okay.
And 1s and 2s are equal to 1s and 2s. 5s and 6s are also 1, but they also activate effects. And you might have like a knockdown effect or something for your unarmed strike.
I have what's called a mean right hook. It does 1 damage effect. Vicious.
Okay,
1
so then
damage
your
5s
and 6s are also 2s then.
Yes. Okay, well, I do 4 points of damage.
Okay. So he is able. This Klingon, they've got like redundant organs and bone structures and stuff. So you feel like you made pretty solid contact with him with your kick, but he almost kind of shrugs it off as if he didn't take all that much damage. It is now his turn, and he attacks again. This time he tries to swat you with one of his fists. So go ahead and give me another daring plus security roll.
2 successes.
Okay, he got 3 again.
Oh boy.
So that's going to be 4 as he hits you across the jaw with his fist. And 2 more points of stress damage. It's now your move, and you have 1 point of momentum. Quickly, let's see how Captain Harriman and Dr. Ozil are responding as they are watching this fight unfold.
There's lots of wincing from the doctor. It's just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, the captain's trying to sort of keep his composure. He's not supposed to be showing much emotion one way or the other, but inside, obviously, he's cheering for the chief.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a Captain Harriman, give me a presence plus command roll, the difficulty of 1.
Presence plus command. Okay, so that's 10, 15. Oh, yeah, 6 and a 3.
So how many successes is that?
I'm just looking to see. Yeah. I was wondering if a focus would apply, but not really, unless you count interstellar law and politics.
If you can come up with a way to make that work, you could.
No, I'll just stick with the 2.
Okay, so you generate a point of momentum as you offer some advice to your officer in the fight.
Oh, am I in the corner? I'm in the corner with him, yeah?
Sure, if you want to be.
Yeah, look, Rocky, you just got to keep bobbing and weaving. That's what it is. No, I'll just remind him, come on, Chief, you're fighting for the honour of the ship here. And this, after all, is just a Klingon.
You got it, Captain. I'll do my best. He wipes out, wipes the blood off of his lips.
I expect nothing less, Chief.
All right, Captain.
And Commander Han, you now have 2 points of momentum to deal with, as it's your turn to act.
Okay. So he's going to spend that 1 extra, 1 momentum, and he's not able to invoke the value, is he?
So I think you've already spent your
yeah.
determination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I spent the determination earlier in the ship.
Sorry, guys, I dropped out there for a second.
No problem. Yeah, he already spent 1 determination back at the Klingon ship. All right, so
Yes.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3 successes.
Okay, and I got 2. So you generate a point of momentum, and you've made a successful attack.
There we go. Ooh. So 5 is 2. That's 2. That's 2. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 11. So he does 11 points of damage. And I have effects taken at in 5s, right?
Yeah, effects are on 5s and 6s.
Okay. Yeah, effects actually kick in. He's trying to deliver his trademark mean right hook kick. Doing this, taekwondo move. He spins around and, delivers a hook kick to the jaw.
Okay, so 11 points. So he takes 8. 9. Okay. So that ordinarily would deal an injury, but I'm going to spend the rest of my threat to keep him in the fight. So he lost the stress damage, but you are able to connect on a pretty serious blow, and it looks like he's going to go down, but then he realizes what he's fighting for, and he stands back up, and he glares at you and comes back at you with an attack. This time he is just going to, he's kind of running on reserves right now and adrenaline, and he just charges into you just like a berserker. Just try to slam his body up against yours. And so give me another daring plus security roll.
Could I spend a momentum on it?
Yes, you've got 3 points of momentum right now, so you can spend them all to get 2 extra dice if you want, or you can just spend 1 and get 1.
Yeah, actually, he's going to spend them all. So 4 dice total.
Okay, I got 1 success.
I got 2 successes, 3, 4 successes.
Okay, so you get your momentum back, and you reverse this attack. Go ahead and narrate for me on how you're able to reverse this attack.
So as he charges, he dodges out of the way, and then locks the head of the Klingon, with his left arm, and then spins around and pushes him down on the floor, and elbows him on the back of the head.
Yeah, so there's this loud thud as the Klingon hits the mat. The deck plates almost shake a little bit. Go ahead and roll damage, Young.
Ooh. That's 6. That's 2, 2, 2. No. So he does 6 points of damage with the effect on all of them.
Okay. Okay. So the Klingon appears to be unconscious. He is not getting back up off the mat this time.
Damn, that thing's loud.
That's the
We got
best.
him. We got him. All right. So Hando says, "You fought well, but it seems like I get to keep the battle. However, because you fought so honorably, I don't believe I deserve to hold this if it's your family heirloom."
He rolls up off the mat and spits out some blood, maybe some teeth. And he says, "You would give me the Batleth back.
I
With no
would.
conditions."
With no conditions. If a man is so determined to get his family heirloom back, who am I to hold it?
What was the gong for?
You are an honorable man and a skilled warrior. And he holds out his giant mitt to shake Hondo's hand.
Yeah, Hondo offers it, and he shakes the hand. He says, "You fought well. You almost had me on the ropes earlier."
And Dragath takes his Batleth back and he says, "We are no longer enemies. You've made a friend this day."
I appreciate that. And so the lives of your men, they shall be spared?
You have my word as a Klingon warrior.
You have my thanks. He turns around to face the captain and says, "Captain?" And he smiles.
I believe you've acquitted yourself well today, Chief. I suggest you go to sickbay now and get those injuries seen to. And then maybe take the rest of the shift off.
You're
Thank you,
going to need to
Captain.
sleep this off. You just were unconscious for like 3 seconds. You definitely need to go to the doctor. Like out of Archer, which is a great show.
By the way, Captain, do you have some of those Romulan ale? Was it Romulan wine? You have some?
I'm sure we can find something from somewhere, Chief.
Okay,
You deserve it. I'll turn to the Klingon commander and just say you're more than welcome to use our sickbay as well to have your wounds treated and stay on the venture for as long as you wish until we can chat about our temporary alliance. But if you wish to return to your own ship...
Yes, I appreciate the offer, Captain, but I would rather have my own surgeon tend to my wounds.
Of course.
Please have the other warriors transported to my vessel as well. You have my word that they will be taken care of and have a chance to explain themselves.
I'll see that it's done immediately. And for the moment, you will stay in close proximity to us until we have a chance to talk about our alliance against the Orions, yes?
Yes. It turns out I've underestimated you. We might make good allies.
I hope so. We could certainly do with ridding this area of the Orion presence. And your help would be very much appreciated in that. I'll have the security team escort the captain and anybody that came with him to the transporter room. And then we'll get the other Klingons out of sickbay and get them transported over as well.
Yeah, so that's able to take place without any tasks or anything like that. How do you guys spend the next few hours?
I'm going to be heading back, letting those wounded Klingons know that there was a fight. Han was able to win. Their commander from the IKS ship seems to be on good terms and is willing to give you guys a chance of redemption. So there's that sort of alliance we're doing to get back at the Orions. So
I'll probably be up on the bridge. I want to review the Orion ships and their tactics.
Hondo's back in his quarter going like, oh, that was such a nice backlight.
Yeah, now you've got an empty space on your wall where you were keeping it.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Captain Harriman, as you are on the bridge, looking through tactical data on Orion vessels, a young ensign at the science station calls out, Captain, you better look at this. There are some ships that appear to be emerging from the nebula.
Okay, what have we got?
As you look through the scope, you recognize two vessels that are just emerging from this energy cloud, and they look exactly like the vessels that attacked the original D7 that you guys came to rescue. It looks like there are Orion pirates emerging from the nebula in an attack posture.
Okay, red alert it is then. And I'll get the communications officer to hail the Klingons and warn them of the Orions.
Yeah, so Commander Dragath is on the bridge of the vessel, and he says, it appears our alliance will be tested already. Good hunting, Captain.
And you, Commander, I believe since it was your vessel that was ambushed by these dishonorable Orions, you should lead the fight.
It would be my pleasure. Follow me! And he shouts something in Klingon that you assume to be, today is a good day to die.
Okay, and I'll arrange for the security chief to be called up to the bridge. I think we're going to need his tactical skills here.
Yep, Hando arrives and he's at the computer console, firing up, checking the current status of the shipboard tactical systems, making sure that everything's up to it's all ready to go.
Yep, so the red alert klaxon is sounding, and Commander Han, you're satisfied that the Venture's tactical systems are hot and ready to go, and both the Klingon battlecruiser and the Venture start moving into a starship combat situation side by side, and that is where we will end tonight's session.
To be continued.
To be continued.
To be continued with another fight.
Awesome.
Nice. Mind you, I was looking forward to blowing some Orions out of space, but I can wait. I can wait.
Yep. Until next time. So I'm going to end the broadcast right now. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Okay.
See you next time on Star Trek Explorers. Computer and
That's still really loud.